Hello everyone, my name is Mike Fish, CEO and founder of Big Data for Analytics, the management consultancy in big data and artificial intelligence. Today's video tutorial is going to cover the key aspects, for business people at least, on non-technical best practice in deploying analytics and AI, something rarely covered by the specialists who are tied to promoting specific technologies. But why focus on the non-technical best practice, and what does that mean? Well, the simple reason is that people-related issues are now the leading cause of failed projects in analytics, not the technology, which can now generally be made to work. What I'd like to share with you today is distilled from our experience in working over several years with clients in financial services, in retail, and in consumer goods, and also with senior management teams in my other role as accredited CEO coach. We'll cover 5 areas today: building the digital board, data-driven culture change, changing individual behaviors, best practice for structuring analytics teams, and best practice for analytics projects. So the digital board, what does that mean? It's clear that a company that's starting to become digital and take advantage of digital technologies can hardly be managed by an analog board, as it were. But it is true that most board members today of such companies did not grow up with these technologies, and many are struggling to keep pace. So it's key for the board to understand the new responsibilities that will be expected of them, first of all, in data governance, for example, and GDPR is a very current example of that, data ethics and so on. It's really important also for those business leaders to be able to evaluate the data-related investment proposals that are going to be coming across their desk, and to have the skills to both evaluate and question those, and to be able to assess the return on investment for the business. Making sure also that the analytics initiatives which do go ahead reflect company purpose and goals in key areas such as innovation, customer engagement, internal efficiencies, HR. All of that is really important to ensure that those analytics projects are connected to the company goal. And in order to then make those projects work, of course, you need new skills. And it's important that leaders understand those new skills that will be needed, how to attract and motivate them, whether they're chief data officer, data scientist, or whatever. And so all of those skills together constitute what we call the digital board, and the skills that will be required in the coming years. The second one is data-driven culture change. Some people call it digital transformation, although many people think that's the responsibility of the IT department. And the key one amongst that is actually the question of optimization that can take place, and perhaps is already developed in one or more of your departments, so at different speeds. But the challenge there is you can have a situation where each department is optimized according to its own goals, but at the expense of optimization for the company as a whole. And that's obviously a loss of efficiency. So that's certainly something to avoid. In doing that, of course, you need to achieve greater consistency across the different departmental silos, each which operates according to its own goals, its own reporting lines, its own processes, and quite often its own style of data collection. And it's that data collection which prevents, in some sense, the ability to put all that information together and achieve a single version of the truth, which is another key goal if you're going to be able to use data company-wide. And so ensuring that those different departments conform to a company-wide standard of data collection is fundamental. And of course, having a single version of the truth enables people to have trust in it, and also promotes greater transparency in the business. As individual groups and individual managers experiment with the data and provide insights that allows them to understand and start providing this circle of continuous improvement, it's important that they, as managers, become facilitators rather than bottlenecks in that cycle. And that means that they need to hand over some of the high volume, low value decisions, which can these days be executed via machine learning, and instead step out of that loop and spend time on the high value decisions, and also on making sure that the overall level of optimization and improvement is actually converging on the target and producing a better result. The next point is changing individual behaviors, and of course this is for general business staff who need to feel empowered to experiment with data and make mistakes without fear of being blamed. They need to learn to trust the data, as we were saying earlier on, but also to question it, and increasingly to move the focus from data representing what happened to a more scenario planning approach to help predict what will happen. The last 2 points are around the analytics function itself within businesses. So best practice for structuring analytics teams, well, it's really important, of course, that whatever data strategy which they develop as part of their role properly reflects the organization purpose and goals and is not created in isolation. And we've seen a number of projects where there's been a complete divergence there, and that's not good. And the second is, as some of you may know from a recent study of data scientists, to make sure that these quite expensive resources are properly and effectively used, since the most recent study suggests that only 40% of their time is typically spent on data science work, and the rest is spent on data preparation, which could be done by other staff. I won't spend time on the last point, best practice for analytics projects, but we have set out in our document, which you can download, the top 5 criteria for success in that area, all of which are non-technical. So I've given you the highlights here, since we don't have time to cover everything that business managers need to know about in this area. And of course, all of that is quite separate from the technicalities of getting the technology to work. But we have documented this in a short best practice guide document you can download. Our focus at Big Data for Analytics is on applying analytics to practical business problems to change business outcomes. And if that can't be done in 60 to 90 days, it's probably not worth doing, because the goalposts will have moved by then. I hope you've enjoyed this best practice overview. If you'd like to download the full document, you can get it from our website. Thanks for watching.